Thank you, Honorable Minister, Chair, members of the Presidential Task Force, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Firstly, echoing Mr. President, I really want to thank all Nigerians for their resilience and support of our efforts so far. By adhering to the preventive measures that we've recommended, we've seen results, but we've also seen some limitations. And in everything we do, we'll keep pushing to get to the end of this outbreak. Now, during his address yesterday, Mr. President highlighted the need for an aggressive reinforcement of testing and contact tracing measures. One of the key things that will enable us to do this efficiently for Nigerians is to avoid non-essential travel. So really, that is a very difficult thing to do, but I'd like to remind everyone that this virus doesn't fly on its own from state to state. It is carried by us. We have 32 states infected in Nigeria, or 32 states with at least one confirmed case in Nigeria. What it means is that someone has traveled from a state with a confirmed case to a state with another. There's no other way that virus could have traveled. So we really need to try very hard to adhere to these measures. I have heard reports of people traveling and considering traveling to other cities and to the rural areas for all sorts of reasons. This is really counterproductive right now as we fight very hard to get on top of this outbreak. Therefore, I'd like to reiterate that we try to limit this or avoid this altogether unless it's a matter of life and death to travel. We have to take responsibility for this. Government can only do so much. The armed forces, the police on the road can only do so much. We have to try, and I know it's hard, to limit the reasons for travel. Non-essential travel is really a big challenge for us, and this is how this outbreak is spreading. By discouraging interstate travel, which is what the President announced yesterday, our aim is to limit transmission to areas where cases have not been reported. There are 4 states in Nigeria right now where we haven't confirmed a single case. Our goal, and maybe the one small success left for us right now, is to avoid a single case in any of those states. So our goal really is to avoid transmission, to avoid infection, and to keep the states with no case or few cases exactly that way. However, how are we going to do this? We have learned from every country that the only way to do this, and it sounds counterintuitive, is to test more people. The Laboratory Strategic Group that is responding to this outbreak has set itself a target of testing 2 million people in the next 3 months. This is a very ambitious target. We're working very hard with our development partners and all our friends to equip our labs to be able to do this. It's going to cost us a lot of money, but we can't do this without a lot of collaboration from everyone. In countries that have achieved a lot more in terms of testing, like in South Africa that we're always referred to, they have tested a lot more, and not just they have tested more, they have tested more as a proportion of their population. We are lagging behind, but now we have to catch up. So when I refer to this, it's really as an epidemiological indicator of how well the response is doing. In order to test 2 million people in 3 months across the country, we need to test about 50,000 per state, plus minus depending on your population size. There's no other way we can do this. We need the cooperation and collaboration of every state government in Nigeria, every Department of Public Health, and we need the collaboration of the people living in these states. The only entry point into control of this outbreak is through testing. Because of the number of asymptomatic infections and mildly symptomatic people, we really can't understand the size of the problem if we do not test. So we're going to try, working with all our partners. We have built on the lab side and expanding capacity. Now we need to build on the supply side so that we see that the samples come in. There's no other way to do this by working collaboratively with our biggest clients for us are the governments, the state governments, and their teams. So over the next few weeks, I'll be engaging aggressively with every state, getting their buy-in, asking them to work with us as we increase capacity to test, but also increase capacity to sending the samples. So I'm really seeking for your collaboration and your support, the support of their excellencies, all the governors of every state in Nigeria, to work with us to see whether we can achieve this target of 2 million tests in Nigeria in the next 3 months. But let me end where I started. Our goal is still to reduce the number of transmissions. We can only reduce the number of transmissions by what we do, by staying at home as much as we possibly can, by reducing travel. We can't reduce it completely. We can't eliminate travel completely because even in Mr. President's speech, he did make certain exceptions. Agricultural products have to move. Certain products that keep our economy working will have to move. So if we limit that movement to these essential services and products, then we have a chance of reducing the impact of this outbreak on our country. Thank you very much.
The chairman and members of the presidential